haven't bitten anyone yet. I've maybe felt like it, but not yet anyway. And how's your day been?
It's okay.
Right. As you probably noticed, I have quite a broad Scottish accent. If you don't understand me, just ask me to repeat. Okay?
Yeah, I thought
I,
you were. I didn't know if you were English or Scottish.
oh, what an insult.
Oh God.
It's a tradition in Scotland to laugh at England getting beat in a soccer match in a competition that Scotland didn't qualify for. No, it's a bit of friendly banter, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I had two other people come on the phone asking about private readings, and somebody gave my number to their mum, and their mum wanted a reading, and they gave my number to somebody else. And then my cousin came on the phone.
Yeah, it always happens that way. Just
Yeah, and I normally hear from no one. I've seen that some evenings I would love to be disturbed.
yeah.
Now, have you seen me doing readings before?
Yes.
Right. You can ask as many questions as you like. Right. The reading isn't exclusively to one spirit. If you want your mum through, and then a bit later you want your grandma through, well, ask. Okay.
Okay.
Don't be frightened to say no, because it can't be that you've forgotten or I've described something very badly.
Yeah, that's cause yeah, you can't possibly remember like all the details all the time.
Yeah. As I say, well, this is it. I've done that myself, when I was sort of learning how to develop it. And we were sitting in a group, and we all took a turn at giving the messages. And this girl gave a message, and I went, nah, nope, not for me. Half an hour later, I was spitting out my coffee. My wife's, wait, Doug, what are you doing? I says, where's that girl? She was spot on. It kept running in my head, and then the penny dropped. I remembered something that I'd forgotten years and years and years ago.
Oh,
But basically, I can also go back and ask the spirit, give her something else.
yeah.
Right then, if you're nice and relaxed, chilled, you've got a cup of coffee and a cigarette there.
If I smoke or drink coffee, I would, but I don't do either.
You don't. Do you like a cup of tea?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Right then, who would you like me to try and bring through first for you?
Um, my boyfriend.
Right then. Just right here. What was your boyfriend's name?
His name is Marvin.
Martin.
Marvin with a V.
Marvin.
Mhm.
I want to call him Marv. Did he get shorted by
Yeah.
his friend?
No, no, he called himself that a lot.
He called himself Marv.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right then, I'm wanting to say he passed quite young, or he's shown himself to me as being quite young.
Um, I mean, he technically would be considered older. I mean, not too young.
Yeah, did he look? I'm going to say he was one of these guys. He came a bit closer, you see, because obviously he's picking you up, and the vibrations build. I'm wanting to say he actually looked, he's one of these annoying people that looked so much younger than they actually were.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm only joking, it's annoying. But I'm wanting to say a very well groomed man, very clean. I also want to call him a gentleman.
Yeah, exactly.
He's telling me he knew how to treat a lady and he believed that all ladies should be treated with the utmost respect, sort of thing.
Mhm.
Right, he's just came back and said he's still watching over you.
Mhm.
And he's telling me you are still under a bit of a cloud.
Yeah.
He's telling me he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Does that make sense to you?
You mean, as far as when he passed or
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that so much.
Right, he's on about something was wrong. Was it? Did he pass in hospital? Was he ill?
Um, eh, he wasn't in the hospital. He I mean, he had some health issues for sure, yeah.
Right. So he had been in hospital. He's talking about something. Was it an ongoing condition?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now it's making sense. He's getting stronger the more I'm getting your voice. You see. He's saying to tell you he loved you more than you'll ever know.
Aw.
And he wants you to know he got to take all the love you gave him with him.
That's good.
He's saying, I'm sorry, darling, I had to go. All the time in the world wouldn't have been enough time with you.
Mm.
He's describing you two's closeness as almost being like twins, a soulmate type connection.
Yeah, I always felt
And he's
that.
telling me you have never recovered.
No.
You've learned to live with it and live with it a bit better than you have done in the past. And he's talking about it. It's like his passing created a void, it created a vacuum.
Mhm.
And I'm wanting to say it's like a constant draining your energy.
Yeah, it is.
He's saying, don't give up. Because he's telling me you feel like you've fought so long, so hard, and you're beginning to run out of fight.
Mhm.
He's saying to tell you, you only buried his body, his vessel. He wants you to start thinking of him as going on ahead to get things ready. He wants you to know you will get to be together, in the spirit world after life. heaven, whatever you prefer to call it.
Mhm.
But he's also giving you a warning. He's saying, don't you dare come home early. He's saying he knows how you feel, he knows how you think. To explain to you, you see, everything is, they don't actually have to physically talk in the spirit world. It's like telepathic.
Mhm.
So he knows what you've been thinking. And he's saying, and those are the days he draws the closest to you. He's saying nothing will ever, ever, ever take away what you two had together. He's telling me some people search for a lifetime and never find anything the smallest iota, littlest bit as good as what you two had. He's saying to tell you thank you for showing him what the meaning of the word love is.
Mm.
He's telling me how wonderful and complete you made his life. He's saying he would come back tomorrow and do it all over again, including passing youngish, just to be with you again. Because as he said earlier, he's telling me again, all the time in the world would never have been enough with you. Do you not like, he's telling me you don't like talking about your feelings.
Um,
I'm wanting to call you a private person there. That's what he's telling me.
um, sometimes, but he's actually the more private one, I think, of us two.
Mm-hmm. Right, I've had this before with spirits. He's saying, if you're downstairs, think of him upstairs, or think of him, you're in the living room, he's in the kitchen. He's telling me the easiest way to explain it is it's the spirit world, heaven, or whatever you prefer to call it, is like a different dimension. You've heard them talking about parallel universes on Star Trek and Star Wars and that.
Mhm.
That's basically how it is. You move into a parallel like universe. That's the easiest way to describe it. But he's just said something really nice. He's saying he would never abandon you, he would never leave you. Nothing will ever take away the specialness of what you two had together. And I think I do understand what he's talking about because I had a similar connection with my late wife.
Oh.
I mean, say I used to go to the shops, on the way home from work, grab a bunch of flowers, and I hadn't told my wife I was coming home with flowers. And I'll guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, she had a vase ready for the flowers when I came home.
Oh, that's nice.
Now, I think you had a similar type of connection. It maybe worked in a different way. He's nodding his head to me and saying, what you had was special. He's telling me he feels You were lucky to have what you had. But he's saying it would have been nice to had more time together, but hey ho, as he was saying earlier, all the time in the world wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah.
But he's saying he had the privilege of being with you. I'm in the spirit world, and if one thing I learned on the earth plane was the value of true love. Now he's saying he doesn't want you, or he wants you to stop shutting yourself away. He's urging you not to give up in life. He's saying he could tell you to move on, meet someone else, but he's saying, I think we both know you won't.
No, I won't.
He's saying you're definitely not ready at this moment in time. But he's saying if you get the chance to be happy, please don't rule it out. He's saying just be honest, and he's setting a deck of playing cards on the table and he's spreading them out. So, in other words, if you do meet someone else or someone says, would you like to go for a coffee? Tell them, you know, you lost your partner, you lost your soulmate. That way you don't upset anyone,
Mhm.
you know? And if they're worth anything, uh, you know, if they've got any character, moral standing, then they will understand.
Yeah.
But he's urging you to please don't rule out the possibility of finding happiness again. Because he's telling me you were always the first to go running to help other people.
Mhm.
Karma's going to come back on you. Now, karma isn't necessarily all bad. It's like, good and evil. It's got to be in balance. If I was nasty to you, then that will come back on me 10 times. But if I'm really nice to you, that'll come back on me 10 times. And I feel that this is going to, you've always been the first to help anybody. And I'm wanting to say it's always unconditional, it's always unasked. And it's like, I'm wanting to say, a few of your friends have been quite tearful. They thought that nobody would come and stand in their corner. Nobody would come and be with them when their back was to the wall. It's like you're Miss Reliable, sort of thing. Friend in need type of thing.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm being told this hasn't been unnoticed in the spirit world. He's telling me you're a good person of good moral standing. He's saying allow yourself to heal. Have you been talking to anyone about how you feel your bereavement?
Um, yeah, I talked to
I
some.
mean, like counselling.
Oh, no, not counseling.
He's saying don't knock it if you haven't tried it. He is acknowledging it works for some people, other people it doesn't. But he's talking about you having good, understanding friends who are there for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Have they been making the offer to you to go out?
Um, yeah, some of them have, yeah.
And they know it's a waste of time because you always say no.
I don't I mean, um, I don't necessarily say no, it's just, well, I have, like, one good
I'll answer that for you. It doesn't feel right, does it?
uh,
He's telling me it doesn't feel right. It's almost like you're cheating or you're being unfaithful.
oh, no, I mean, I don't really have a lot of guy friends that
If it doesn't, there's the feeling's not right. He's telling me the offer to, for you to go out with them is a genuine offer. The offer comes with love. It's someone that cares about you.
mhm. Yeah, it's somebody that we both
It's like
mhm,
you've got a bit, he's telling me it's like you've got a bit of fear that they are trying to, fit you up, match make you. He's saying to me, you think you know your friends better than that, but he understands your fears, but he's urging you not to close the door on a relationship in the future. He's talking about you need time to heal. And is this quite a recent passing? Because he's telling me it's still very raw.
um, yeah, actually, he passed, about 2 years ago, but I only found out a year ago. So, yeah.
Right. So it makes aye. So it's still quite raw. I mean,
Mhm.
say it was about 6 months to a year afterwards before I felt bad after my wife passed. Not that I didn't notice she was gone and it didn't, but when it really hit me, when it came home, was 6 months to a year after, because you didn't know he'd passed,
Yeah.
did you?
No, I didn't.
And you found out, which makes it worse,
Yeah.
because he's telling me you feel so guilty. You weren't there when he passed. You would have liked to be at his side, holding his hand, stroking his head, telling him it was all right. You know what I mean? Comforting him.
Yes, definitely.
He's saying, stop beating yourself up. He's saying to me, you know who's to blame for that. He's saying, you remember what I said about karma? Their day will come. He's saying he does want you eventually to move on. He wants you to be happy again. But he's saying this won't take anything away from him and what you had,
Mhm.
because nothing can rub out the memories. It's not like you can take in a razor, and rub out the memories. You can't. They will always be there. And he's telling me the right person will understand you're going to have bad days because, chances are they might be in a similar position. But I'm being told to tell you, if someone does ask you for a cup of tea, remember it probably has taken them a lot of courage to come to you and ask, would you like to go for a cup of tea, or would you like to go for coffee and a donut, sort of thing. It's well, I'm wanting to say, whoever does approach you in the future, it will have taken them a lot of courage, because I'm wanting to use a term with them, a typical Scottish term. Uh, Been there, bought the T-shirt, taken it back, and got a refund. In other words, they've been through the same.
Mhm.
He's also saying, stop beating yourself up. What could you have done?
I just feel like he would have been less, alone, you know? I just
I know what you mean, because it was locked down at the time my wife passed, and we could only get, they would allow you into the hospital the day your loved one was dying.
mm,
It was restricted to immediate family only. You could only go to the bed one at a time. This was in Aberdeen Royal Infirmary, and my wife made me promise that she would get to die with her mother at her side, which meant I couldn't be at her side as much as I wanted to be, you know?
I don't know.
So I understand where you're coming from. Definitely do. He's really is a nice guy, is he? Because he's telling me if he could take the pain all away for you, he would.
Yeah, he was the best.
But he's telling me the amount of pain you have, you both have, shows how much love you had.
Mhm.
He's telling me he considers himself truly blessed to, to have what you two had, to have experienced the feelings that you two had. Did he like Queen? Because he started singing, "Find me somebody to love me."
I don't I don't know if he liked that band, but
There could be something in the word. Spirit often will do that.
mhm.
He's also given me that. You know how Queen did a lot of ballads, a lot of love story type thing.
Mhm.
Because he's now given me these are the days of my life. And he sings about life being like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're wanting to ask him now? Because it is your reading.
There was, um there was some like, there was, like, a gift that he gave me one time, and it was in a ring box, but it was actually a necklace, and I always just wondered if he meant that to be, like, a proposal or something, or if he was, like, testing me to see if I would say yes or something.
He wanted to marry you.
No.
That explains why I'm getting find me somebody to love me. He found you.
Mm.
I'm wanting to I'm wanting to say he had something planned. It was like he hid the ring away because he was planning something special. I feel it's like there was something coming up or something like that. Does it ring a bell with a birthday, an anniversary, Valentine's Day, Christmas? He was planning to do it, and it was like the last thing he expected was to be somewhere else.
Yeah, the we kind of I kinda had to walk away from him after a while, because he like I said, he was the private person, and he never I never knew how he felt, and I mean, we had been, like, together for a very long time, and he never could tell me how he felt, and I ended up thinking that he just didn't feel the same way, so it got mm,
He did feel the same way.
yeah, but there was, like, a
He's saying he loved you with all his heart, and don't you ever doubt it. But I'll tell you the reason. He suffers from depression.
yeah, I do too. Yeah,
He's saying he knows now there's no shame in it, but then at that time, it's like, you would still have gotten people smirking, behind your back, sort of thing.
yeah,
There's still people would have called the man soft for saying he had depression.
yeah, um I always had that, and I know
Yeah, I suffer myself.
yeah,
I'm on sertraline. I take 200 mils of sertraline every day. So you're not alone.
yeah.
Do you think you've sensed him?
Um,
Because he's just said to me, you feel him.
I think I do, but I don't exactly know how it's supposed to feel to mm,
Cold. Do you ever all of a sudden in a warm room go, you know?
yeah,
Or you feel a cold draft around your legs like someone opened the front door?
yeah, I do, and then, like, the other day, my TV came on by itself, and I don't know if that was him or just my
Of course it was.
well, I figured it was because it came on, the ch
Right, if I turned around to you and said his program was on,
yeah, that was his favorite, cartoon
yeah, his
thing.
favorite, you just like that, it was just boom, the urge to say my program was on.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that, You could. I know there's a lot of fake mediums and that out there, but you couldn't Google something like that to find that out.
No, and I thought 'cause I tend to be like a chatterbox, so I was actually upstairs kind of talking out loud to him, and I thought he did that because he was like, "I can't hear any more of your talking, I have to go down and watch my program or something." 'Cause I do like
I'm
uh,
going to say the volume was actually loud.
it was 'cause I
It
thought
was like, oh, I've heard enough. And he's pressing the remote volume.
yeah, I thought 'cause yeah, it just, like, startled me, I thought maybe it was my cat that accidentally fell on the remote, but I
Right. He's saying to me, let that be a lesson because you often think I'm not listening to you.
Yeah, but I feel bad because I know I can be like I overanalyze things, and I know he's probably, like, wanting to walk away from me because 'cause I'm just talking too much. He wouldn't be the first person my brother does
He's
that.
saying he would never walk away. He'd already made that mistake.
Yeah.
He's saying sometimes you have to lose something to understand its value.
Well, the way things are, the way things were left was I had to kinda walk away because I just felt like he didn't feel the same way, and he didn't never would tell me that he loved me, and I would always tell him, and I didn't feel like he
Yeah,
did.
it was the depression.
Yeah. I always thought he would come after me, though, and he never did.
Because when you've got depression, you don't think straight, you don't think rationally.
Mhm.
It was like he didn't know what was wrong. He knew something was wrong, but he didn't know what. He keeps telling me his mind wasn't right. Basically,
Mhm.
it was keeping you at arm's length to protect you.
It's just, kinda weird thinking about it, but, I mean, I was having depression at the same time, and I just never knew he was feeling that way too.
No, he definitely was depressed. Like, I see darkness round about him, and that's spirits way of telling him. Because I did wonder if he'd actually taken his own life, but and well, he said he didn't do that, but he's possibly at some point had contemplated it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I know how he passed is because, I've heard it from other mediums. I wouldn't actually know myself. I mean, it just was kind of just a fluke that I even found out he passed because he didn't have an obituary or anything. It was
Right. I'm wanting to say that some of the family wrongly blamed you.
me, really? But, the thing is
Well, they knew he'd health problems and he also had depression. You know, if he'd split with you, well, they would think, she must have done something.
well, you know what, I find it funny because his according to what I know, his parents and his sister didn't want him to be with me because I was a lot younger than him, and they always apparently shamed him for wanting to even be with me, and so it's just I would think they would have been happy that we weren't together.
Right. Did they think what he's telling me, they thought you were after his money, saw him as a sugar daddy?
Yeah, that's what they thought, but and they never met me, so they could have met me for one day and realized I wasn't
Hmm.
that person.
Well, I'm wanting to say he's talking about the meat and humble pie.
Yeah, 'cause I know his parents have since passed, and I don't know how they feel about me now, but it's just, I just know from what like I said, most of the things I know are from what I've
He's on
heard.
about too much water under the bridge now.
Yeah, but
But he's saying, just know you weren't in the wrong. He's saying they were misguided, but they were trying to protect him because they loved him. And it's the reason I stopped sort of mid sentence was he started speaking, and it's like what they thought you were doing, someone else had already tried.
Yeah, I heard about that too, is he had another girl that's basically all
Right,
she
they're
did.
explaining it to me because he's got a paintbrush. They painted you with the same brush.
Yeah, but the thing I always wondered is why wouldn't they it's like, why wouldn't they want him to be happy though, you know what I mean? Uh, you know, it's just that I felt like they were keeping him
Yeah.
from being happy.
And he's telling me they were misguided. They were trying to protect him
Yeah,
because of what had gone on before.
yeah,
He's telling me you were painted with the wrong brush.
yeah, I know. I just wish I coulda met them, like,
Right,
once.
okay, he's explaining a bit more. I didn't think him getting involved with you was too long after that relationship. And they thought you were getting into him when he was vulnerable, still vulnerable, on the rebound.
Oh, okay. I guess I thought that happened, like
He's telling me they were totally wrong, but he's saying from where he is in the spirit world looking down on everything, he can now see what they did was out of love. They were trying to protect him because they thought he was vulnerable. They'd wrongly tarred you with the same brush.
yeah,
And he's telling me this girl, whoever she was, broke his heart in umpteen pieces.
yeah.
And then he's saying, all of a sudden, one day after vowing never again, guess who walked in the door?
I always thought
He's saying he's sorry, but he's adamant they were trying to protect him.
that he
But they were misguidedly trying to protect him.
um, I always thought that's why he wouldn't tell me that he loved me because I guess the last time he did, that's what happened to him, and he was afraid to say it.
You know what they're literally showing me? Like the girl had his heart in his hand and took a gun,
Yeah.
shot him through the heart, sort of thing.
You know, I always it just makes me feel bad because not I mean, to do that to anybody is bad, but to do it to somebody is wonderful
Well,
with him.
I know what you mean. To do something like that, to humiliate somebody
Mhm.
who is vulnerable, to me, you're the scum of the earth.
Yeah. I just
And what I mean? There are genuine people out there blokes that aren't wanting to get into a lady's underwear. They're just wanting to have a cup of tea with the ladies, but some people automatically think the worst. Oh, she's a widower, she's trying to get her cleats into that guy.
yeah.
She's only maybe being sociable. Would you like a cup of tea, mate?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I understand because, I mean, there is kind of the stigma just
There's a lot of
mm,
that goes on. People go after you when you're vulnerable.
yeah. I guess I thought his relationship with her was, like, more when he was, like, in his 30s or something, and not
Hmm.
'cause I met him when he was 47 or 46.
the way what I'm picking up for him, uh, it was a professional performance. She looked like she loved him, devoted him, and I keep getting con artist, con artist, con artist, professional con artist sort of thing.
Yeah.
She just, she basically cleaned them out and destroyed them in the bargain.
Yeah, I heard that he bought her, like, anything she wanted. I just and that's what the funny thing about me is I got so mad at
But he
him.
just said to me when the money went dry,
Yeah,
you know,
I always when we first went out, I was always wanting to pay half and everything, and I just it made me mad that he would never let me pay for anything, and
because he was an old school
yeah.
gentleman.
But I used to try to put money on his desk and stuff and just because I just felt, I'm 'cause since I was younger, I'm more of like, I felt like I should
I'll
pay
give you a
him.
bit more juicy information. When he used to take you out for something to eat, he always pulled out your chair and pushed it in again, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. That's what I loved
That's
about
an
him.
old school gentleman.
Yeah, that's what I really loved about him, but it was actually his sense of humor that kinda made me fall for him. He's just very funny.
That he's just said to me that actually came about to hide the pain.
Yeah, I could see that. I do that too, I pretend I'm happy around people because I don't think they wanna be around somebody that's sad.
He's telling me he only has one regret in his life and all the time that he spent with you. Till the end of time, he's going to wish he'd opened up to you.
Yeah.
He's saying he bared his soul to the other lady, and you know what he got.
Mhm.
He's on about she had destroyed him.
Yeah, yeah, I just I hear like I said, I've heard bits of it, and it just
Yeah.
hurt. I almost wanna just, like, if I could see her, I would just punch her, because she just completely broke somebody that was just the most, like, amazing
He's
person.
thanking you for showing him what true love was.
Yeah, yeah,
He's telling me he was so lucky to even meet you.
yeah, and you know how they always tell you that, you don't like, love just kinda happens when it's supposed to, and when I first met him, I never even considered it would happen because of his age and things, and it just kinda, like, happened when I wasn't even looking for it, you know?
Yeah, that's when you meet someone.
Yeah, because there's
Like what I did one night, I was sitting in the house watching television on a Saturday night. I'd broken up with my ex over, 2, 3 years prior, and I thought, what the heck are you doing sitting in the house, single guy, in his 40s, sort of thing. What are you doing sitting in the house on a Saturday night? Go on. So next thing I knew, I'm getting washed, tidied myself up, walked into the pub, and it was a band playing music and someone shouts, "There's the butcher," because I used to work as a butcher, you see, at that time. And this was one of the people that used to come in the shop. "Oh, hello, butcher, are you yourself? Get yourself a drink and come and join us. This is my friend Gina." And I just after that earlier that night vowing never again.
mhm.
And I married Gina 11 months later.
Oh,
We exchanged phone numbers, and I thought I'll never hear from her again. And about 3, 4 days later, she phoned me.
oh, that's so sweet.
And we got married on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's so nice.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I know he wants me to move on and everything, but,
He wants
you
you.
know,
He wants you to love again. He's telling me he wants you to love again.
I don't want to. I mean, once you've had like the best person, there's just
He's telling me he knows you're not ready. He's telling me time's a great healer.
yeah.
I could see you being more open to that idea in maybe a year or 2 years.
I don't know. I mean, I when I walked,
He's saying if it's meant to be, it will be.
yeah, I'm not looking
But
forward
he
to.
wants you to know whatever you choose to do, you'll have his blessing.
Yeah, but I really just want to be with him when I,
Mhm.
I don't want to be with anybody else.
He's so, just, it's like he doesn't want you to dismiss it out of hand. He's even he's even suggested friend. He's on what I can see and make of him, he seems a lovely guy. I think I would have gotten on well with him actually,
Yeah.
and I'm not just saying that.
No, like I said, he made friends easily. He was just very likable.
He said, telling me he treated everybody with respect.
Mhm.
He spoke to people. He approached people. He treated people how he wanted to be treated.
Mhm.
He's saying what with him. He's saying to me, "What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
If you didn't like what you saw and what you were getting, then he's basically saying fuck off."
Yeah.
But he's saying again, "Thank you for the best years of my life." And his only regret at ever being with you is he didn't open up about how he was feeling.
Yeah, and it's like I often I
Have I said you he couldn't find the words?
yeah, it's like I know he expected or he thought I wanted a lot more, but honestly, I just wanted to he just had to say I love you and that would have been it for me. I didn't want to hear anything else.
He's just said to me he regrets that too. Not saying he loved you,
Yeah.
but he's saying sometimes actions speak louder.
But that's why when he get like I said, when that he gave me that gift that one time, I that was it for me. I thought he was, like, gonna propose. I was, like, afraid to open it because I really thought it
I
was a
think
ring.
he definitely wanted to.
Mhm. I think he was like I said, he was testing me to
But
see,
I'm wanting
you
to
know.
say I do feel there was a very, very, very real fear.
Mhm.
He's saying he knows he was wrong, but he's saying you understand his thinking was wrong.
Yeah.
He was tarring you with the same brush. You know what, like, if you've had your heart broken, humiliated, and
Mhm.
then you meet someone else, you're thinking, are you going to do the same?
Yeah, and it always surprised me he thought that way because I told him I loved
Yeah,
him,
but
you know.
you've got to bear in mind he was suffering from depression. And
Yeah.
when you suffer from depression, as you know, he's telling me you think stupid things.
Yeah, I know it.
It's like, you'd maybe do something and he thought, oh, well, maybe she doesn't love me. But it could have been something as simple as, that time of the month and you're a bit crabby. But he doesn't know it. You know what I mean? His thinking wasn't straight,
I think
it
even
wasn't rational.
one time I gave him a card and I wrote "I love you" in there, and I kind of knew because every time I had said it before, he kind of just looked at me, and I wrote in the card, I says, I swear I put down, I think, well, if it doesn't happen now, it's going to happen in the afterlife, and I just never thought that would actually be true, you know, like that would, you know,
Hmm.
it's, ugh. And the only other thing I wonder is I know
Hmm.
he's met my mom up there, and from what I know, they get along really well, but,
Hmm.
um, I don't, I guess I wonder how he feels about her, and I mean, he's probably met my other family too, I don't know.
He's telling me he's with the family.
With my family? Yeah.
He's with the family. Well, he'll obviously regard your family as his family.
Oh. Yeah, my like I
No,
said.
he's just said something very nice. He says, she's my mom too.
Oh. Yeah. She's like I said, she's a lot like me, so, she's very easy to get along with, and, like, every and
He's a character. He was a charmer, wasn't he?
yes, yeah.
Because he's telling me, I didn't know you had an older sister.
Yeah, and you know why that's funny is because she looks so young that everybody thought she was my older sister and not my mom, because she's
Well, there
looking,
you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Again, I've got to turn around and say, there's no way I could Google something like that about you.
and you know what always this is ridiculous, but I always since she was closer to his age than I always thought she was gonna, like, take him from me or something 'cause, um, you know, but
Hmm. Yeah, you think these things, it's because you've had your fingers burnt before.
yeah, but, I mean, she has, like, 4 people to choose from up there, so, um,
He's saying you don't have to go to his grave. He's on about lighting a candle.
hmm. I do visit his g but I always just know he's here anyway with me, he's not really there.
Hmm.
The other thing I wondered is he when I first visited his grave, he didn't have a grave marker, he was listed as being buried in the same plot as his dad, and then, like, 2 weeks after I visited, all of a sudden, he had his own spot in the cremation area, and it was a whole 13 months after he had passed. And I didn't know if it was me, something I did.
Strange thing he say he's telling me he wanted our place,
Mhm.
and no, a place for you two.
Yeah. If I didn't already
Yeah, I think he means, for obviously in many, many years to come, when it's your turn to go home, you know, you could be with him in the afterlife and be, your earthly remains could be together as well.
I actually would have done that, but when my mom passed, I purchased, I put it so that I'll be with her because she's in one of those above ground niches, and
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Oh, they've got a name, haven't they?
yeah, and he was cremated, and I always was kind of scared. I don't know why I was just so scared to do that. But he has plenty of room next to him, and so I just feel bad that I already have, like, a plan like,
Hmm.
already paid for.
But you can always change plans.
Yeah. I think that's probably why there's so many openings next to him. I don't, because it's like,
Hmm. You could probably ask him if you could do a swap.
yeah, I don't know why I'm just so scared about cremation when I know you're not really alive anymore, but it just, um, I don't it just creeps me out kind of.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying. Like,
Did he wanna be cremated, or was that just something his family decided? Because I don't even know if he had plans like that.
I want to say the decision was made for him.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because also the other thing I heard about him is nobody found him for a couple days, and that's what really tears me apart because it's just like that, I don't like that he was there and, like, nobody checked on him or anything.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a sad thing. It's wrong with society nowadays. They found someone a few years back in Aberdeen that had been dead a year.
Oh my gosh.
The council thought the guy had abandoned his house, so they boarded up the windows. Few months further down the line, after the year of the house, they're putting letters through the door. We believe you've abandoned this property, and eventually boarded up the windows. And then they went in to renovate the property, and here was what was left of him.
Oh my god.
The local authorities got a lot of abuse for that.
Yeah,
He got they got a lot of bad press, serious bad press.
that's just what hurts a lot is just knowing he was, alone like that and he didn't have people to check on him,
Hmm.
you know? I mean, I'm just thankful that he went quickly, that he didn't have to be, like, suffering there and couldn't get to a phone or something. But from what I know, he passed very quickly.
Yeah, I'm wanting to say do you know if it was his heart that gave out?
Yeah, it
He's
was
talking about being dead before he hit the floor, dead before he was on the floor.
yeah, it was a massive heart attack. And I guess he had
He's saying he never felt a thing. It was just that's why I was getting it was almost like the wrong place at the wrong time. Obviously, there was nobody there, which makes it the wrong.
and I think he had stents put in a while
Mm.
beforehand, and, um, I don't know. I don't know if they
Telling me it was just his time. It was his time.
yeah. I always thought I always pictured him as being a lot older because his parents were, 10 to 15 years older than he was, and, yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. Is it true that cats can sense spirits, more than
Yes,
people?
cats and dogs. If
My
you
kids
see a cat looking at the wall, and
yeah,
it moves its head and it's following something along, a dog will do the same.
my 2 cats that are up here, they're always staring at the walls, and I just
Hmm.
imagine that's
Yeah,
when they see him. They don't hiss anymore, so I think they're used to him, but
yeah,
it's just,
yeah. The cats will see them.
he probably plays with my cats
Hmm.
or
Yeah,
teases
yeah.
them.
I was waiting to say. I felt that he liked cats. That was how the pharaohs used to believe. Egyptians used to believe that cats used to carry the spirits of the pharaohs.
I've had about over 20 cats in my life, so it's just like I'm gonna be like this cat lady when I get to see all these cats again.
Yeah, there'll be 50, 60 cats clumbering over you when you get there.
Yeah, it's just I never, when I was younger, I never thought that cats end up in the same place as humans. Or at least they used to say that, they would be in their own separate area.
Hmm. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed your reading.
Yes, it really helped me because I just had like a lot of, I have like a not a lot of
Hmm.
questions that just,
If you think of anything else you want to ask, get back to me. I'll answer it because I've done the same thing myself, going for reading. I must ask this. I must ask this. And then half an hour after reading, you go, oh, for fuck's sake, you know. I should have asked. It took me about 3 years to find out why my wife wanted to die on a Monday.
can I ask what happened to your wife?
She had bone cancer.
Oh my gosh. That's kind of be the worst kind of cancer to,
Yeah, and they found it purely by accident.
she
There
didn't
was an opportunity missed 2 years prior.
she didn't have any symptoms or
She had fibromyalgia,
oh, okay.
which is a chronic pain condition, and we thought it was her fibromyalgia getting worse.
Mhm.
And we were actually renting a house privately on a farm in the countryside in Scotland. And as her health got worse, we decided it was time for a house, everything on the flat, ground floor type of thing. So that was what we did. And it meant a change of doctors.
Mm,
Because over here, doctors have a catchment area, you know,
mhm.
and we were basically moving to another catchment area. And because with my wife having fibromyalgia, it makes you absent minded.
Yeah.
So my wife says to me, "You better come in the doctor with me." And she said, "The doctor, well, it's all right if my husband comes in. It's just that my fibro makes my absent minded." And he's, "No, no, not at all." And he started looking at her medication, and he just heard the guy go, "Jesus Christ!" He says, "This clearly isn't working. You're on maximum dose of this, maximum dose of that." He says, "You're going to have to come off all these tablets." He says, "They're clearly not working." He says, "Right, come with me." And he got the nurse to do a whole round of blood tests. And he says, "What comes back in the blood tests, what we find in your blood is what we'll treat. And hopefully, with new medication, advanced techniques and that, hopefully we can get your life, back to you, even if it's just a little bit."
Mhm.
Pinged up in the blood test, bad kidney function. Hospital asked, "Can we have another blood test, please?" So following day, I took her back to the doctor. They did another blood test. Following day, get your wife into hospital now. Following day, I was told my wife had myeloma, bone cancer.
Yeah, that's so tough.
Yeah, there was a chance missed to find it 2 year prior, and they missed it. But I don't blame the doctors because Gina's mother was one of four sisters, and uh, they have all died except for Gina's mother of breast cancer. So
Mhm.
when she went for it, you get, the X-rays. You get them like every 5 years here.
Mhm.
They saw something in one of her boobs, and went, "We see something, but it doesn't look like cancer. But on your family history, we will take it all the road." So we were happy enough at that. Went back. They did it. They put a long needle in, took a couple of cells, and went, "We're fairly sure it's not cancer. In fact, the doctor says, I would almost chance it to say that it's not cancer, but you're a high risk patient. We'll get you back again and we'll do a full biopsy. That way, we can definitely rule out 100% it's not cancer." So they did a full biopsy in the morning. By night time, we knew, they told us, going to this bit of the hospital, that bit of the hospital. And the consultant says, good news, it 100% definitely isn't cancer. We will put you on 3 monthly appointments and 6 monthly appointments because you're a high risk patient. It's a build up of calcium.
Mm,
But they were looking for breast cancer. When you've bone cancer, your bones don't absorb calcium.
mhm,
And the reason it pinged up in her kidneys was the calcium had choked up her kidneys. So she had little or no kidney function left. And as her kidneys choked up, the body started storing this calcium in other bits, which was why they found calcium in her boobs. But to be fair, the doctors weren't looking for bone cancer, they were looking for breast cancer, you know?
yeah. I have to do that every year, with an ultrasound now because my mom's sister passed when she was only, like, 53 from that, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And like you say, well, they tried chemotherapy and injections with my wife, but the only thing they did was make her ill and caused other health problems.
yeah,
They tried it for about 3 months and then stopped.
yeah, my
And
dad
she found out she had cancer in the middle of April, and by the following January, she died.
my god, it's just, yeah, my dad has so
And
many.
all this during lockdown.
Yeah, see, that was the worst time is you could like you said, you couldn't visit people as much, as you wanted
Mm.
to.
Well, the rules went out the window a little bit for us because obviously Gina being terminal, but she was allowed to see her grandchildren and her boys. They were allowed into the house, but they had to wear masks.
Yeah.
And I was working in a supermarket, which made it worse because I was terrified that I was going to take COVID home, you know?
Yeah, because 'cause you're around all those people all the time, yeah.
Hmm.
That's my dad currently has, terminal lung cancer, and he has so many health things that were caused by the chemo, he has a lot of
Hmm.
mouth sores and things you get. Um,
Hmm.
it's just
My wife got to the extent she couldn't keep her eyes open.
ugh, yeah.
I would get up in the morning, and she'd say, "Oh, make me a cup of coffee." She says, "Well, you're making the coffee, I'll get dressed." And you find her falling asleep, pulling up a sock up her foot,
Mm.
you know, bend down to pull the sock up. And used to dread her having a cigarette.
Yeah, it really, like, it completely just, like, drains your energy. You're, like, tired a lot from that kinda treatment.
Yeah, well, one of our friends helped out as long as she could because I couldn't stop working because I was classed as a key worker. We've been a butcher, in a supermarket. I couldn't get stopped working. If I stopped working, the government was swamped with companies laying people off. You know, what they called furlough.
Mhm.
They would pay your money. The government paid you your wages, and you just stayed at home. But there was so many people laid off that it was taking 9 months to get money. For them to receive your application and then start paying you, it was taking 9 months. Well, we couldn't survive without money for 9 months. We got round it because normally you would get carers and that to come in, but they said if my wife chose to die at home on the day she was expected to die, I would get carers. And we got round it because Gina's mother lived herself, and we were told that she could come and look after her daughter, but she had to stay until COVID was over.
Hmm.
And that was how we were able to get Gina, as you say, looked after.
Yeah, I can't imagine, I mean, just watching, knowing your loved one is sick like that and you have to watch them,
Well, I
you
knew,
know?
I knew before she did how bad it was that the consultant told me,
Oh,
and I spoke to her. Well, it was myeloma, bone cancer she had, and I spoke to myeloma, UK, and they said, how long has she had it? Because they reckon only 1% would still be alive after 5 years of it. And I says, well, it's at the stage it's affected kidney cancer, kidneys, liver function. They're fine, it's in her boobs and that. And they basically told me back then she would do well. They said, without seeing her records, 3 to 5 years. But if she's at that stage, it could be less, and it was a lot less.
Hmm.
But it was a blessing in the end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's just so much pain and stuff. It just you just don't want to be like that. You
But we
feel
did have some laughs during it, because our friend runs a croft, a small farm, and she ended up rescuing animals, and she rescued the sheep. And I came home from my work to get into trouble from my wife. Why is Tallulah her friend's pet sheep in the garden? Yes. I gave you money to go and buy a new lawnmower, dog. I don't expect to see you getting borrowing a sheep. You take it you take it take it back to her house right now on your way to your work. Aye, okay. It was the medication. She woke me up one evening, you know, and she went to the toilet herself, came back and says, Doctor, there's snakes in the living room. And I had to get up and catch these snakes.
yeah,
But we all had a good giggle about it because obviously it was the medication that was doing it. And when she was more compass mentis, we were saying, can we get some of your tablets? That must be good shit you're on.
yeah, sounds like it.
Mm. But so there was never a good time for that. And as I say, I do know how you feel like.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for your loss too. It's I don't know. It's just so I feel like it's like one of the hardest things. You know.
Yeah, and it always comes together. I actually had another medium, I think Angel Whisperer he called himself. He tried to call me out as a
Oh,
fake medium. I was actually talking to the guy on his live, and he says, "You're preying on vulnerable people." And I says, "Oh, I'm preying on vulnerable people, am I?" He went, "Yes, you are." I says, "Well," I says, my wife died. I says, yeah, my wife's died. I says, but 2 weeks before my wife died, my mother died. And 2 weeks after that, I had an aunt died. I lost three close family members in the space of as many weeks. Now, you still want to say I'm preying on vulnerable people. If anybody's vulnerable, it's me, mate.
yeah, that's a lot. Ugh, I can't
There's a
imagine.
saying. You ever heard that saying? It comes in threes.
Yeah, always. Yeah, I've heard that. Mhm.
And I think karma came back to bite the guy in the butt because it wasn't long after that. I think he got banned for a while.
Yeah, that's
TikTok banned him.
yeah. I mean, I'm usually very like I said. I think I only watched you one time, and I'm like, yeah, you're you're definitely I like that. You know how some mediums the
Mm.
readings are.
Well, my wife used to get on to me for putting myself down.
Yeah.
Because I always, and I still say it yet, she was a better medium than me. But she wouldn't go live or, go up on the stage in front of an audience.
Mhm.
But if you lived next door to us and you were having a talk across the fence, she would say, "Oh, come in for a cup of coffee and I'll give you a reading," and you'd be mesmerized. But I was into it as well, and she pushed me on. And I had two separate mediums after she died that I'm friends with, they don't know each other, and they both told me the same thing. Gina knew how I worked this side of life, and once she learned how the spooky stuff worked in the spirit world, she was going to work with me, and I would give people amazing proof.
Mhm.
And both mediums almost told me word for word that I would do this, and they don't know each other. They still to this day haven't met. But I did tell the both of them, get back in touch and say, hey, hey, Lee, Sam told me exactly what you told me, and ended up telling the pair of them, but they've never ever met. So to me, that was fantastic proof.
Yeah. I have a friend that's she never said that she was a medium, but she's been getting a lot of things from Marvin, and her name is Mary. And I was always
Is that a coloured gentleman?
Mar who, wait, Marvin?
Yeah.
No. No.
I do know a medium. He's a black American guy.
No,
He's quite a nice guy.
my friend is name her name is Mary. She's a woman, and
All right.
I just was curious if you know if he's really communicating with her, because she gets these things all the time, and it sounds like a lot of things he would say, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had a guy get back to me a couple of nights ago saying he'd gone for a reading with somebody else, and he said, and I says, "Oh yeah." Says, "Was it a good reading?" He says, "Yes, but they told me what you told me 6 months ago."
yeah, it's just well, she hasn't told anybody she's a medium. And I just wonder if she's actually talking to him or just telling me things I would want to hear, you know?
She probably is picking up things, but she might be unsure of how to develop it and that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's just
She could be what they call clairsentient, sensitive to spirits. She'll sense what the spirits are wanting to say.
well, do you know if he actually does communicate with her? Because I just was curious. Her name is Ethan.
Without actually meeting her, I couldn't say, but to get an impression of the way you're speaking, I would say she does. She's obviously senses it.
Mhm.
She's obviously got it, but she might not know how to develop it.
You know, she said she actually gets more things when she's taken a
Sleeping.
couple, or no, when she takes a couple of those like CBD gummy things that she feels for some reason.
Ah, right. That tells me she's nervous, and if she's taking something like that, she's more relaxed.
Yeah. Well, it's just,
Because you see, if you go up in front of an audience, like go on a stage, it's so easy to get stage fright
mhm.
and panic. You know,
Well, it's just in,
it's so easy to do.
well, the thing is, he tells her a lot of things that he was, like I said, he was very reserved and everything, and he didn't like to talk about um, physical attractiveness, and he didn't have a lot of affection, and he tells her a lot of things that, like how he views me, like he thought I was good looking and all that, and I don't ever get that from him in readings. I always wondered if he was even like really physically attracted to me. Um, you know,
He probably was. He had been attracted to you, but you see, when you pass, you lose everything negative.
uh,
A lot of people think, heaven or whatever you want to call it. People are going about wearing like monks' outfits, and everybody's got a set of rosary beads.
yeah,
No, you basically don't change it. That's the feeling I get.
mm,
But if you were depressed and passed as a result of depression, say, when you pass, you lose that. You lose the bad, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
And all your happy memories, like you two meeting and falling in love. You take that with you. If you've had Alzheimer's and died, well, you've forgotten everything. Well, it all comes back to you.
Yeah, because my mom had dementia for the last 4 years, and
Well,
she
your mum, as soon as she passed,
yeah.
it'd been like a computer rebooting.
Well, that's why I always wondered if he viewed me that way because he used to, like, tease me sometimes and call me kiddo, because I was so
I
much
think
older.
but the way the reading went, I would say he obviously suffered from depression, but he was probably scared to show his emotion
Yeah,
because a sign of weakness. He wasn't wanting to be seen as weak. He wasn't wanting to be seen as vulnerable, where he probably was as a result. He
yeah,
probably, well, he had done. He genuinely loved that other girl, you know, with all his heart, and she basically tore his heart to shreds. It hurts.
yeah. I don't think he. I think other than her, I think I was the only other person that he like fell in
Mm.
love with. I don't think there was anybody else.
Yeah, well, it speaks volumes for you if he was able to begin to trust you again. But I think the whole time he'd had this fear of losing you, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. Yeah, he thought he was gonna fail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically, but he now knows that that's not the case.
yeah. It's just like you always wish, like if they knew then what they know now, it's just like it would have been.
Yeah, as I say, hindsight's a great thing.
Yeah,
But anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
yeah. I appreciate it. It was
Hey,
really.
you're very, very welcome. And if you ever fancy, as we call it in Scotland, a blether,
Hmm.
just somebody to talk to, send me a message. And if I'm free, I'll have a blether with you.
Okay. I thank
Or
you.
if you remember something, we should ask them this, message me.
That's how I always am. Is I am better with writing than talking, so because I feel like I'm always forgetting things when I'm talking to someone as opposed to, like,
Oh,
writing.
I've seen me going to shops, to the supermarket to buy milk and I come home with everything else but the milk.
Yeah, yeah,
You're in good company. Trust me, you're in very good company that way.
yeah. I have to make
But
it.
so I always say that to everybody because it might not be today, it could maybe be in a couple of days' time. Oh, I should ask them that. Well, if that happens to you, send me a message and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay, so you take care.
You
Okay.
too. You have a good night.
Yeah, an absolute privilege talking to you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much indeed.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.